Yo, it's your boy Willet here for an episode of Willet's Breakdowns. These are not scheduled weekly episodes, these are just when there's something that comes down that I want to break down. So I'm going to break down my Raiders 53-man roster projection. So we even got the Raider colors on, or Foot Locker, or Beetlejuice. All is accepted. So obviously, quarterbacks. There were some tough decisions to make on this, and it got tinkered several times. So, our starter, of course, I believe is going to be Kirk Cousins. I don't feel they're going to rush out Fernando Mendoza, so I'm not sure if that means Aiden gets released or traded. Hopefully traded, but so we can get some type of capital for him. But so this would be my quarterback room: Kirk Cousins, starter, Fernando Mendoza, the backup to learn. Next, I'm going to move on to the centers. So, of course, Tyler Linderbaum going to be the starter. I actually want Jordan Meredith to back him up just because of his flexibility of playing guard or center. You're going to see that in my breakdown here that I'm going to be focusing on flexibility a lot too, where people got put. So, next for offensive tackle, don't think it should be too much surprise here. Colton Miller starting at left tackle, backed up by Charles Grant. And then right tackle, which I'm a little worried about, DJ Glaze. And then backed up by Caleb Rogers. But as you're going to see at guard, one of my guys can play tackle, who I think would likely, if he could possibly even out DJ Glaze. So this is kind of a tentative, but this is kind of the way I think they'll go. Unless this person just balls out. So let's move on to guards. So of course, left guard, no surprise. I just hope he stays healthy. Jackson Powers Johnson, I would back him up with Spencer Buford. And then I would start Trey Zune the third at right guard. Unless tackle is just abysmal, then we could tinker around a little bit, possibly move him to tackle and let Antonio Mafi step up as guard possibly, or Spencer Buford, as they do have experience playing either or. Alright, our wide receiver room. This was the one that got tinkered probably the most because of the sheer amount of them we have. So, I kept quite a few, as you can see, but I feel like we need that committee wide receiver approach since we don't have like a true number one. So for X wide receiver, who typically lines on line of scrimmage, is more going to be a press man type, would be Jalen Naylor, Dante Thornton Jr., and Malik Benson. Our slot wide receivers, who are more for our crossing routes and such, would be Jack Besh and Derek Young. And the RZ, who's going to do a lot of motion and kind of confuse the defense, would be Trey Tucker and EJ Williams Jr. So, very young crew, but I think it can work, especially if they put them in the position to succeed, and I feel like this would best do it based on their skill types. And then we say we don't have a true number one wide receiver because he's on a tight end. So obviously I'm rolling with Brock Bowers as our starting tight end, who is going to probably draw most of the coverage. And then Michael Mayer, just because he's a good receiving option himself, good blocker, just overall good dude. So of course he makes the roster. Alright, running backs. Of course, Ashton Genty is going to be our starter. And then Mike Washington Jr., create that lightning and thunder. And then I snuck in Roman Himby because I believe he gets taken if he does not make this roster. So you have to get him in there as well, I believe. In my opinion, he gets snagged from us if we don't have him on the roster. Fullbacks was a little tricky. I had to do some research into Patrick. Of course, Connor Hayward, since he's kind of a fullback tight end hybrid. But Patrick Gerd also was a fullback hybrid as well. So I feel he would be a promising backup, minimal cost option. Just in case something does happen to Connor Hayward, he can already be kind of getting used to the system and fulfill that role if need be. So I would hate not to have a fullback if something were to happen to Connor. Cornerbacks, shouldn't be too much surprise here. The top four starting. Eric Stokes, Teron Johnson, Darian Porter, Jermon McCoy. Kind of had to be a little skimpy here to make the 53-man roster work, but I feel this most likely works out. And then luckily we have some flexibility at safety, so they can even alter in a corner as well. I feel like Stokes may be able. I feel like he can play. I've heard rumblings that he can play slot corner or safety, so that could be helpful for us. Especially since I would still use Isaiah Palmau as more of a box safety, Jeremy Chin over the top, and then, if Stokes out senior one of them to start, then hey, cool for us. Alright, linebacker was a tough decision too, because we're going to need more linebackers since we're switching to a 3-4 defense. So I kept quite a few. Of course, this projection is based on that they don't bring in any more people. So wanted to have a decent rotation to keep each other fresh. So of course Nakobe Dean, Quay Walker will be out there. I like Xavier Sorey Jr. And then it just came down to upside. So I hope I'm saying his name right, Segun Alubi or Alubai. Sorry if it's pronounced wrong. He's been in the league a little longer. He's had some good tape. He's also special teams help, so that's why he kind of, because there's been a lot of talk of the promise of Tommy Eibenberg and Cody Lindenberg, but I just haven't seen it, so I kind of gave the upside to Segun. I'm not sure how you say his name, but just because of he's been proven on special teams, so he got the edge for me there at linebacker. Defensive tackle, again, want a good rotation, and I feel like we're going to need it since we didn't address defensive tackle early. But I like the idea of Adam Butler, John Alulu, Thomas Booker being able to come in, and then also J.G. Big East and Tonka Hemingway. Adam Butler's not getting any younger. Thomas Booker's not getting any younger. So I want to keep these guys on and just keep building them up, right? Because eventually they could possibly, if they keep getting built up and to where they can reach the starter level, then that's a good replacement for those two, and they're young for years to come. So that's my planning there. Defensive end, should be no shock here either. Max Crosby, Kwity Paye, Malcolm Kuntz, and K'Ron Crawford. Again, provides us a good rotation, allows K'Ron to develop a little more. I do believe he supplants Malcolm Kuntz at some point. I just haven't seen it from Kuntz. Like, he has his few good games at the end of the season, that's why we hold on to him, but his price tag is just too much for me. I don't understand the move of continue to bring him back for a few good games, basically. I hope he proves me wrong. He should have a chip on his shoulder, because I wouldn't have re-signed him. Not for it's like over $10 million. No way. But to each their own. To each their own. So I'm hoping K'Ron ends up surpassing him. I don't want anyone to ever lose their job. I just feel he's not the best fit. Hopefully that changes with Rob Leonard now running the show and he balls out, but we'll see. I personally want to went that route. But he makes the roster basically because of the price tag and that we do need that fourth defensive end, so K'Ron's not rushed out right away. And he can kind of just pin his ears back on certain downs and, learn from Max and Kwity Paye to develop him. Alright, getting into special teams now. Our kicker, even though I love the Tokyo Toe, I think Matt Gay probably most likely gets the nod just because he's been consistent over the years. And, I mean, he could always get beat out. This is definitely tentative, but I feel like he just gets it because he's a veteran. Punter, no surprise, AJ Cole. And then I did keep both long snappers just in case the young man outs him. It never hurts to get younger and cheaper on your team. So, Alex Ward starting long snapper, followed by Tyler Duzansky. So, If the rookies ball out and supplant the veterans, you take it. That opens up cap. You can spend it elsewhere in the upcoming season, so it doesn't hurt. I'm looking at now for competitiveness, but future by having these rookies remain on the roster so they don't get plugged from us. As it never hurts to replace veterans with young guys and have them on their cheaper rookie contracts. So I want them to be able to develop, right? Alright, so we get a 17-member practice squad because we have our international pathway player. So these are the guys that I would project to keep on the practice squad, or at least try our best to. Hezekiah Massis, cornerback. Greedy Vance, cornerback. Brandon Cleveland, defensive tackle. Dalton Johnson, safety. Cedric Jackson, wide receiver. Jafari Harvey. I had him on the 53 at first, but then I took him off for, I want to say, another corner. Because I was like, yeah, we can't only have 3. We need at least 4. I wanted to hold on to him because I liked his upside too, but it was just too crowded of a room and I had other areas I needed to tend to. Maybe it wasn't corner. It might have been linebacker. It was tough. Lucky Tossi, they moved him back to defensive tackle. That's why I brought him to the practice squad. The Tokyo Toe there, Kanzi Matsuzawa. So at least he's in the wings. He can learn. Kamari Missouri, tackle. Just to keep continuing the offensive line, continuity in the offensive line. So if he does develop, he could get bumped up possibly. Or if someone gets injured, he could bump in. Carter Runyon, tight end. Chase Roberts, wide receiver. Corey Rucker, wide receiver. Again, we picked them up for a reason as undrafted free agents, so I figure it doesn't hurt to have them on the practice squad to learn with our new staff. Chris Collier, just in case of injury, young guy, could possibly come and fill in. Jacob Clark, quarterback. Again, they must have saw something in him to bring him on, so it doesn't hurt with our squad as well, especially if we can develop him to be the backup to Fernando. Brendan Jackson, linebacker. Again, with our increased need of a linebacker, I figure it doesn't hurt to have a backup option just in case. Dalton Wagner, again, just focusing on the trenches. He's been around for a bit. Try to hold him on the practice squad. And then Antonio Mafi, same thing, just to provide us some depth if needed. The guys I would probably try to protect, I'd probably try to protect Antonio Mafi, Jafari Harvey. Oh, definitely Hezekiah Massis, and then Brandon Cleveland. That would be my 4 protections that I would try to keep on the practice squad. Thank you for watching here at Willis Thrills and Flips and my 53-man projection and practice squad projection. Please like, subscribe, check out my other content. I'll have it here somewhere on the screen, so check it out. Knowing me, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be somewhere random. Just kidding. But anyway, also support at TikTok and Instagram, Willis Thrills and Flips. Also, help me out on Twitch. I'm really trying to get that going as well at Willet Plays. WILLET, and then the word plays, like playing video games. So check it out. We've been streaming, honestly, a couple times a week now. Wednesdays guaranteed. That happens every Wednesday. And then just any other time that either my buddies want to hop on or I have some random free time, then I kick on a game and kick on the stream and we have a good time. So thank you for all your guys' support. Make sure you hit like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Let the algorithm pay me so you don't have to. Not that I want you to pay me anyway, but Twitch, I am accepting donations on there. But again, I'd rather make these big corporations do it, so we don't, and instead of getting to the point of YouTube where we're doing super chats and stuff, make them pay me. So check it out. Also, special shout out to Dubby Energy. Bam, here's one of their flavors. The first one I ever tried, Dragonade. Bomb, dragon fruit, pink strawberry lemonade. That's the good stuff. They're our lovely sponsor. They keep us rolling. Go to their website, use the code Willet for 10% off. It helps support the channel and, shows that you guys got my back too. Thank you all. See you next time.